A warm welcome to everyone. Let's begin with a prayer as a very warm welcome to all of you and a very, very fruitful, happy Guru Purnima, joyous Guru Purnima celebrations to everybody. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murtihi Pujamoolam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayana Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Om Sadguru Devaya Namaha. What a meaningful coincidence this has been. Another speaker was supposed to deliver this session today, and for some unavoidable reasons, he could not come. And this session has fallen on my lap. And such a wonderful coincidence that this is a Guru Purnima day. They say man proposes, God disposes. In fact, spiritually, we would turn it around and say man designs and God has a greater design for man. And what better offering to my realized teacher, master, philosopher, guide, guru can it be than to offer my understanding of whatever I've gained through his teaching at his lotus feet. So once again, a very, very happy Guru Purnima to everybody. May it be fruitful. May the light of the wisdom of the teaching of the divine masters shine in our intellect, bringing about clarity, shine in our heart, bringing about purity that leads to self-realization and selfless service. At the very outset, I would like to offer my gratitude to three great masters who I am being deeply influenced and inspired. Shri Prabhuji, who is guiding me on the path of self-inquiry, Atma Vichara. Shri Nisargadatta Maharaj, who is a great source of inspiration through his works. And Shri Ramana Maharshi, whose path of who am I is also a great source of inspiration and influence in my life. Of course, like at the beginning, I offer my pranams to the entire Guru Parampara, or the lineage of all the Gurus, right from Sadashiva and Sriman Narayana to Adi Shankara to the present day Karana Guru. I have left the mic open to make it interactive, and at the very outset, I would like to offer this session to my teacher and teachings and his teachings, to Shri Prabhuji and his teachings. Let's begin with this Mahamantra, which Shri Prabhuji often chants. Nanu nanembudu nanalla, ee deha mana buddhi nanalla, Satchidanandatma Shiva Nanu Nane, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not who I think I am. I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am Shiva, the Satchit Ananda. I am Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. So the word Shiva is emphasized. I am Shiva is emphasized 3 times to drive home the point that we are none other than Shiva. And who is Shiva? In the previous line, Sat Chit Ananda. So here there is a phrase, I am not who I think I am. Often all of us have an image about ourselves. I think I am somebody. I am an engineer, I am a manager, I am a husband. Where does this feeling come? It comes in the mind as a thought, isn't it? And what is this Mahamantra saying? I am not whoever I think I am. So who do I think I am? Of all the varieties, of all the infinite thoughts that I have about myself, I am an engineer, I am smart, I am tall, I am fair. Hundreds of thoughts I have about myself. All of these come from one single thought. That is, I am the body, mind, intellect. Instead, what Vedanta is proclaiming every time, on each and every one of us, every minute, through the teachings of Upanishads and through the realized masters who give it to us in an understandable form, is I am Sat Chit Ananda. Now, this is a nice way to begin with. Let's explore this. What these statements mean. I often think of many things that I am. Everything stems from one single thought. I am this body, mind, intellect. So, what the Mahamantra is proclaiming is I am not this body, mind, intellect, but I am Sat Chit Ananda. So, what is this body, mind, intellect thought? What is Sat Chit Ananda? How do we move from I am the body, mind, intellect to I am Sat Chit Ananda is what we will try to explore for the rest of the sessions. We all live in this world. Just give me a minute, please. We all, okay, thank you for your patience. We all live in this world. And when I say I live in this world, do I live in one world or two worlds? What are the worlds that I live in? Where is my home? If we explore, the body lives in this world physically. It's the world, physical world I have created because body is physical. And am I the body only? Who is a human being? Is he only the body? No, I'm also the mind. I also have thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So, where does my mind live in? My mind lives in another world, a world of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And both of these worlds rarely match, rarely synchronize. Why? Because body is at a grosser level and mind is at a subtler level. The body moves at a different pace than the mind. The body has its own inertia, very different from the inertia of the mind. Isn't it so? How do we know this? The body wants, the body strives for some action and knows it takes a lot of time and effort to accomplish certain things. But the mind wants the results immediately. How is it possible? So we find that the body and mind most of the time live in different worlds, but unfortunately, they cannot live without each other. And therefore, there is a constant clash. Clash between one simple thing, the pace of the mind and the pace of the body, the direction of the body and the direction of the mind. Both of these get into a clash. And both of them think they are right in their own way, and this is the only way to be done. And that's the only truth. In other words, the body thinks this world, this physical world, this house is a permanent home, and the mind thinks the thoughts, feelings, and emotions are the only reality. Isn't it? But what is real? Actually, we both of these are living in a rented house. But it's taken this rented house to be its own. Whenever a tenant comes to the house, if we have given a house on rent, as long as the tenant lives in the house, definitely he has to treat it as his house with all great care, not to not to destroy or get the house into a bad condition. So instead of taking care of the house as if it's no, with the understanding that it is the rented house, both of these are claiming to be its own property. Now there is the trouble. The mind therefore is saying, I am this body, I am this mind. Now you act, I want the result now. The body is saying, I will act, but result is not in my hands. It's somewhere in the future. Therefore, the first statement, I am not who I think I am. This conflict is never ending when at the level of body-mind. Now, if we have to resolve this conflict, then what should happen? Body and mind must meet each other on a common ground. If the mind is elsewhere, for example, the body is sitting today in a satsang, as long as the mind is listening to the satsang, the body and mind both are on common ground of this satsang. But many times, the mind, while the body is sitting in the comfort of the room, of the house, the mind will drift elsewhere very easily. Why? Because the mind has more degrees of freedom than the body. The body has a degree of freedom in space, 1 degree of freedom. That means it can move in space. It can be here now and it can be at another place a few minutes later. But it has no freedom in time. It can be in only one place at one time. It can't be in 2 places at the same time. But look at the mind. The mind has 2 degrees of freedom. It has freedom in space and time. It can be here in the satsang, it can be in the US at the same time. It can be roaming around, it can be thinking of dinner or lunch at the same time. It's the natural characteristic of the mind. The mind is meant to roam around in its nature. At the lower level nature. Therefore, as long as the mind and the body do not meet at a common ground, conflicts will never cease. Now, in order to get to how to look at that, where is the body-mind located? If we represent time as 3 dots in a line, present moment at the center, past to the left of the present, and future to the right of the present, just as a simplified model for understanding. Where is the body? Where do you think is the body? The mics are open. You can unmute and say. Any thoughts? Any ideas? Where is the body with respect to time? Where can the body be? All right. So the body is in the present. Isn't it so? Body is always in the present. It can't be anywhere else but in the present. How? Because body responds real time. Now we are sitting in the morning. If you go for a jog, then for the increased level of activity, the body needs more oxygen and the body needs more blood circulation. Therefore, what will happen? The heart will increase its heartbeat. The lungs will breathe more deeply to inhale more oxygen. to get more energy to the brain and to the muscles all over the body. Now, after the exercise, you come back and rest. Then both the hearts and the lungs will settle down to the restful condition. So the body is always responding to the present moment, to the changes that happen then and there. We can never catch the body to be anywhere else but to be in the present moment. I think so. Can the body be anywhere else? It'll be interesting to find out if we discover that the body is not in the present.
This Malti here. Yeah,
Look at the
I
mind.
think the
Where is the
body.
mind?
Sorry.
The mind is
Actually, I just
always
it.
either in the past or in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Vasu, can you
It
hear
can
me?
never be in the present as long as it is active. Why? The moment the mind comes to the present moment, it will vanish temporarily. Hmm? That is the problem. The body is in the present moment, whereas the mind is somewhere either in the past or in the future, sometimes alternating between past and future, briefly passing through the present moment occasionally. And when it passes through the present moment, one gets a feeling of bliss, joy, silence, though for a few moments. Now, what is in the present, therefore, what can the body do? The body can engage in action. And what is in the future, the outcome or the result? Now, look at any action. The body is always concerned with action, whereas the mind is rarely concerned with the action. It's always concerned with the result. This is a commonplace experience, isn't it? And where is the result or the outcome? In the future. That's where the mind is. Or sometimes in the past. Will it work? Will it not work? The worry of the past. Now, if the body is acting in the present and the mind is concerned about the future only, which is the outcome, then what is such an action executed of the body? What is such an action called? Mindless action, isn't it? We often say to people who are erratic, oh, how mindlessly you're acting, you're working. If they spill a cup of coffee or milk or anything on the counter, we say how mindless you are. Why? The body is engaged in pouring milk or coffee or tea to the glass, but the mind is elsewhere. It's concerned, it's thinking about how tasty the coffee will be. And therefore, what is the cause? Action is the cause, and outcome is the effect. This is not to say body is the cause and mind is the effect, but for the outcome, an action is essential, and action is the cause, and the action cause, body, mind operate in the cause effect domain through the cause effect principle. This is just to mean that cause is in the present moment and the effect is always in the future. The outcome is always in the future. In fact, this is the whole principle that Buddha taught, isn't it? Desire is the root cause of misery. Now, how do we overcome misery? Not by handling misery, but by addressing the desire which is the cause. Desire is the cause for misery. Cause leads to effect. No cause means no effect. Therefore, address the cause. All of this then is about going internally, isn't it? Hmm? Therefore, am I audible? Can somebody speak? I think we have a
Yes,
Yes,
Vasu,
we can
you
hear
are
you.
with the audio, I think.
Yes,
Just give
because
me a minute.
our
Let me
audio is
just
not coming
check
through to
the
you.
audio.
Yeah, I think the audio, even when we unmute, is not coming through to you all.
Malti is
we can hear you.
Can
We
you
can hear you.
speak? Oh, okay.
Can you hear me speak?
On
No,
ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
no. I've unmuted.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah, but when
Okay.
we are trying to speak or answer something, I think you can't hear.
Okay, I think now it should be okay. I am able to hear you. Sorry about it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So I typed something, so that's it in the
Yes,
chat
yes.
box.
Okay. So actually, therefore, where were we? We were here, body, mind, and then action and outcome, cause and effect. And therefore, the whole principle of addressing worries, desire, the effect of is to address the root cause. The disturbances is not to address the disturbance itself, but the cause of disturbance, which is at the psychological level. All right. And therefore, if we see what we do now will pave way for what happens in the future. This is a logical extension, isn't it? If actions of the present leads to outcome in the future, then what we do now leads to what happens in the future. Now, the same way, if we extend it, what we did in the past has led to the situation that we are in today. Therefore, the present situation is a result of our doing, our thinking, our acting, our feeling of the past. So, why is karma theory being deemed so unscientific, only religious? Isn't this a very scientific process? And therefore, when we say that, oh, why me? Why something is happening to me? Then we are looking at a very small window. If we understand the cause-effect principle, we will immediately come to understand that the situation that we have landed in today is an outcome of something that has happened that we have done somewhere in the near past or in the distant past. And therefore, the principle of karma. Where does karma operate? in the field of cause and effect. Now, how do we transcend the field of cause and effect? Should we get caught with the cause effect? Now, how far behind can I keep on tracing the cause of my present situation? It's an endless cause, a series of causes, isn't it? Therefore, the sages have said, move from karma to karma yoga. That means just engage in action for instead of not focusing on the result. What does it mean? In the beginning, karma yoga will mean it is very difficult not to think of the result because mind has made it a habit to think about outcome. If I'm giving a talk, I'll start thinking about the outcome. How will the talk come out today? Or if I'm cooking, how will the dish come out today? So instead, what Sri Krishna has said is act and leave the rest to God. Leave the rest to me is what his famous karma yoga theory or principle is in the Bhagavad Gita. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhu mate asangostva karmani. Do an action in the spirit of asanga, unattachment, non-attachment. Immediately, non-attachment is not possible. So, leave the result to God. And action moves from being karmic to karma yoga. All right. So, when this happens, there is still actually the notion that I am doing. So, even this has to be transcended. So, how do we transcend this? We transcend this. Let's look at the same thing in a different context, with a different from a different angle. As long as the mind is in the past and the mind is in the future, it is always in conflict. And therefore, what is the solution? To bring the mind to the present. The mind has to be got from the past to the present and from the future to the present. That means the mind has to be got as a first step to where the body is. Now, this is the whole concept and principle of mindfulness, isn't it? We ask with the eyes closed to be aware of the sensations of the body. And we instruct people with closed eyes to be aware of the breath. What are we doing? We are getting the mind which is away from the body to the body. And when the mind is with the body, this is a simple technique of getting the mind to the present moment. So is it when the mind is brought to the breath, because breath also, like the body, is in the present moment. All the functions of the body, all the physiology of the body are available at the present moment 100%. And the breath is always present in the present moment. The breath doesn't go to the future or the past. It is breathing now. That is why every breath is different. It responds to the emotions. When the mind gets angry, then the breathing increases, becomes shallow and faster. When the mind relaxes, it becomes deeper and slower. When it meditates, it's steady, still breathing rhythmically. So look at what the breath is also doing. It is intelligently responding to the changes in the present moment. Look at what the body is also doing. The body is also intelligently responding to changes in the present moment. And here is another fundamental truth. The present moment is never static. It is continuously changing, moment by moment. And how much time do we have? Do we have 24 hours? We say there are 24 hours in a day. Do I have 24 hours? The day has 24 hours. But I have only this present moment. How my body and breath responds to this present moment decides the quality of my life. And whether the mind is with the body and the breath or somewhere in the past and or the future decides the quality of my life at this moment. Therefore, all the mindfulness technique is simply to get the mind to the body and the mind to the breath. And look what happens. Immediately, both the body and the mind relaxes. The body, breath, and the mind relaxes and they are synchronized. And we feel a sense of joy, quietude, and bliss. Now, who do we think we are when the mind is with the body? Do we think I am the body? Think about it. We'll address it a little later. It's not a trick question, but it is not superficial either. We'll have to investigate it a little further. Now, what does the mind being with the body, and being with the breath or being mean? It means being with the action 100%. That means the body is with the action, the mind is also with the action. Isn't it so? Because action is only in the present moment. So when both the body and mind are 100% in the action, what do we call it? What do we call it? Focus, attention, isn't it? 100% focus and 100% attention on what is happening now and the way the body is responding now. So when the mind's attention and focus is 100% on the action, how will the action be? Will it be efficient or inefficient?
Efficient.
It will be 100% efficient, isn't it? Why? Because the attention of the mind is not divided between action and outcome, between the present and the future. Instead of the split of the attention of the mind between the action and the outcome, when the mind is with the mind, body, and breath are completely with the action 100%, And therefore, that is the most efficient way of acting. Which means what? If we have to act most efficiently, then we must not be concerned with the outcome. We must only be concerned with the action. And that's why Sri Krishna again says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is skill in action. Not the skill of repetition. Of course, that is also a skill. But the subtler skill is to get the mind to the action 100%. Not by force, but by gradually. Can the mind not be interested in its own body? Naturally, it will be. Can the mind not be interested in its own breath? Naturally, it will be. Therefore, getting the mind to back to the body and back to the breath results in skillful action, and that is yoga. There can be no better way of acting than to get the mind to the body, to get the mind's attention to the body. Not physically, but the attention. So when the mind is completely with the action, when it's completely with the present moment, where is the body? Where is the painter when he's completely absorbed in the painting? Where is the singer when he or she is completely absorbed in the singing? Is the singer there? Is the painter there? Where is the actor when he is completely absorbed? All his resources, body, mind, intellect, breath, everything is absorbed in the action. There is nobody who is the actor. There is only action that is happening. When action happens without an actor, then it moves from karma yoga or nishkama karma to naishkarmya. I am not the doer. Now, this is not theory. We know this happens. In many things, unfortunately, we have classified some things as work and profession and some things as hobby and passion. Just as I can forget myself in hobbies and passion, why can't I forget myself in every responsibility of the roles I play? That is mindfulness. And that is Naishkarmya. Action happens, but there is no actor. When the mind gets with the body, gets with the action, there is another important factor that contributes to the outcome. What is that? Nature adds its resources to facilitate the result, because there is no individual in the action and therefore it is an unselfish action. When does nature intervene and contribute? It will intervene and contribute to the result only and only when there is selfless action. The very word selfless action means the self is not there. The little self, the separate self should not be there. Self selfless action. Only action is present. That is why even a little thought, a little desire, oh, let me do this, which is a selfless thought, selfless desire, oh, let me help somebody, then help will come from all quarters, from all directions. And Vani often says many times, universe conspires to contribute, to collapse to a wonderful synchronicity. So without the contribution of nature in the process of action, the result will be very, very small, limited to the little minuscule body, the capacity of the body, mind, and intellect. And the capacity of the individual body, mind, intellect is very, very small when compared to the universe's body, mind, and intellect. Therefore, if we want something enormous, something that is really helpful to the entire world, then only action must flow through us and not from us. The action must be there without the actor. When can that happen? What does the actor being absent mean? I deha mana buddhi nanalla. I am not this body, mind, intellect. I am not the actor. Action is happening through me. It's just like the electric bulb saying, I am not the light giver. Electricity flowing through me gives light to the entire room. So Naishkarmya is not action without an actor, or Naishkarmya is not something very grand or out of the world. Whenever we are absorbed 100% in some activity, we call it whatever we are passionate about, a hobby, or even whatever we are, nature lovers going out and watching sunrise or sunset from the mountain top, they watch for hours together and be completely absorbed. Where is the seer in the complete absorption of the nature? Not there. Only seeing is there. So it happens, but when it happens briefly, it slips our attention. Naishkarmya happens in our experience practically very, very frequently. Therefore, in order to know where we have to move from, let's take a simple example. Suppose God and me meet each other, Ishvara and me. Then how will each of us introduce ourselves? Of course, Ishvara, being non-egoistic, he will come first, isn't it? He will say, I am Ishvara. Then when somebody comes and tells, I am so and so, what will I do, and shakes hands with me, what will I say? I will introduce myself. I will say, I am Vasu. I will say, I am Vasu, isn't it? Then Ishvara will say, I am the world. Because he is the creator of the world. He is the designer of the world, isn't it? What will I say? I am this body. Now, when he is the world, what is the natural corollary? I am unlimited. I am all powerful. Then when I am the body, what will I say next? Naturally, I feel I am limited. Isn't it so? Then Ishvara will say, I am all knowing. Because he knows everything. He's the designer, the creator of the world. He knows whatever is happening, not only on the earth, but all the 9 planets, not only on all the 9 planets, but in the entire universe, all the galaxies, Milky Ways, and everything in the universe. Now, can I claim I know a lot? I know a few things, but when I understand I know a few things, what is my statement? I am ignorant. I'm ignorant of many things. I know very little. Then I am all powerful. I am powerless. What is common here with all these differences? Ishvara is the world, but I am this limited body. Ishvara is unlimited, but I am limited. Ishvara is all-knowing, but I am ignorant. Ishvara is all-powerful, but I am powerless. Then how can Tattvamasi be possible? How can I be Ishvara or Brahman? How can me and my creator be one? When we look at the differences, it is impossible. So we have to shift our attention from all the differences to what is common. Even in the statements of introduction, what is common between God and me? Not the word I am, the feeling, the truth I am. I am is common. Can we see this? Please see the world, this body, then the nature of being unlimited, the nature of being limited, the nature of all-knowing and ignorance, the nature of being powerful and being powerless. All of these are added upon the fundamental I am. So whatever differences are there between God and me, they do exist. But the differences are superimposed on the I am, which is the witness. Therefore, what creates the difference between God and me? All the superimpositions. What is the unity between God and me? The I am principle. In both, the I am is the same. Therefore, when the teacher, when the realized master tells you, you are not the body, you are that. Tat Tvam Asi. He means to point out to what is common between you and God, piercing through all the differences in the superimpositions, in the outer layers. And this is the path of vichara, atma vichara or jnana. Because when we say I am not the body cannot be cut into pieces. I am with the body, but the understanding is that the body is the instrument which is powered by I am. The I am needs the body to express itself as action. The I am needs the mind to express its thoughts in the world. And the body needs I am because I am is the powerhouse of the body. The power of action is given, borrowed from I am. And the power to think and feel of the mind is borrowed again from I am. So without I am, mind cannot think and feel. Without I am, the body does not have the energy to act. So when we say I am not the body, it only means body is the instrument that is powered by I am, and the real doer, feeler and knower, experiencer and knower is I am. So when I say I think I am Vasu, I think I am this body, I think I am limited, I think I am ignorant, I think I am powerless, and many more things about this person or personality, then the first statement comes into play. Just a minute, please. Allah, adu tegadu I'll remove it. Okay. Then the first statement comes into play. That is, Nanu nanembudu nanalla. That means I am not who I think I am. What does that mean? I am not the superimpositions that appear on I am. I am the pure I am, the minus the superimpositions. I am God is not to be taken as an egoistic feeling. It has to be realized. It has to be realized as I am. And that requires a teaching, a pointer, a right pointer in the right direction. And where can that come from? From the scriptures, from the teaching of the Upanishads, Vedanta, Vedantic texts, Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, Itihasas, which is Ramayana and Mahabharata, and other Vedantic scriptures. And how can it come? Now, scriptures say many things. I am Brahman. But how do I understand it? I am Brahman, I am because I am the body? No, somebody has to point us to the right direction, in the right direction. And that being is the Sadguru. And how did that knowledge come from? From the entire lineage, right from Sadashiva to Adi Shankara to the Guru in form, the Sadguru, the Karana Guru. Without the right pointers, we will be looking in the wrong direction because I think I am who I think I am. But what is the truth? I am not who I think I am. So we get so lost in our thoughts that whatever I think, I ascribe reality to it. By the experiences say so. The experiences of the world make me feel so. I am what I think is the experience of this world. But then comes the light in our lives, a realized master, teacher, who will gently take us from where we are, step by step, to our true nature. Not by any kind of magic, but by sheer teaching of what is real and what is unreal through a step by step logical process. Hmm? Now, in the whole thing, what has happened? A transition has happened from I am not this body, mind, intellect to I am. In other words, I am not this superimposition to I am this pure I am. I am not this means I am not any of the superimpositions. That is the first step. Second step, from many to one. Hmm? How many I ams are there? I am only I am. From many to one. And what is the problem with this one? I am is one. But what is the problem? The problem is I am is without a form. So, how do we realize that? The mind and the intellect is used to recognizing forms. And therefore, the final step is to actually move from form to formless. In Drit Trishya Viveka, there are three types of meditations, internally as well as externally. To say Rupanuvid Savikalpa Samadhi is the first type. To negate all the changes is the first type. From I am not this to I am. Negating all the variables and moving and be a constant witness of all that varies. The second step from many to one is to pay attention to the nature of the one, the characteristics of the one single thing. And that is what internally it is the Sakshi. And what is the nature of Sakshi? Asanga, Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa, and Dvaita Varjita. Three characteristics are given. Asanga, it is unattached. So, I am not the one who has got angry. It's the mind that has got angry by its nature. I'm not the one who is acting. It is the body instrument that is acting through me. So it is unattached, asanga. That's the second step. And dvaita varjita, free from duality. And sat chit ananda swarupa. That means of the form, though it is formless, it has taken the form of sat chit ananda. That means it experiences sat chit ananda. It reflects Satchit Ananda. When can we experience Satchit Ananda? Only when we are a witness to all the changes. Only when we are a changeless witness to everything that changes within me. Then we say we move, even that has a form. Then we move from form to formless, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That means we even drop I am not this and I am Satchit Ananda, and just remain established in the focus. Now, my teacher, Shri Prabhuji, says this very wonderfully in his own simplified teachings like this. He says, from I am not this to I am is to move from personal to universal. That means I am this body is a personal thing. The world is my entire world is my body, is the universal thing. What is Ishvara's body? The world. So I am the Jiva to I am Ishvara is to move from personal to universal. I am everybody is to move from personal to universal. Then from many to one, it is to move from universal to impersonal. Impersonal means it is of the nature of non-attachment. And for existence, what is the impersonal nature? The ground of all changes, all varying forms. Then the final step, the last step from form to formless is to move from even being impersonal to transcendence. That means even that last tinge that I am the witness goes, I am feeling goes, and only I or Brahman remains. And the pure I, the pure Brahman, the pure Atman, the pure Sakshi, the light of the witness, the light of the self is formless. Only that is there. How does superimpositions happen? Only when light is intercepted by the body, then light reflects in the body, creates thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and that covers Brahman, and that gives birth to Jiva, and Jiva to Samsara. The same reverse process can go from Samsara to Jiva to Sakshi to Brahman. That is the reverse process. In that light, let us revisit the Mahamantra. I am not who I think I am. I am not the body-mind-intellect. I am Satchit Ananda. And reiterate it 3 more times. I am Shiva. You can also say, I am Satchit Ananda, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. Not as a statement of power, but as the light of realization of the truth. See, my teacher, my realized teacher, Shri Prabhuji, my Guru, gave it in just 4 simple sentences. We can spend several hours dissecting this, the truth of this. It can go on and on. But such a simplified 4-statement mantra. Nanu nanembudu nanalla. I am not who I think I am. E deha manabuddhi nanalla. I am not this body, mind, intellect. Satchit Anandatma Shiva Nanu Nane. I am Shiva, the Satchit Ananda Atma. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. At the level of I am, I and Shiva are the same. At the level of superimpositions, I and Shiva are very different. They can never be the same. And this requires a realized master to enter and teach this. And therefore, what is the light? The light can be looked at in many ways. One thing is, truth is the light. The truth is ever shining. But how will I get the light? Through the teaching. So the teaching becomes the light. And how does the teaching come? Through the teacher. Therefore, teacher becomes the light. Not becomes, is the light, sorry. Teaching is the light. Teacher is the light. And is the teacher the body? No, the entire lineage. Right from Sadashiva and Sriman Narayana up to the present Karana Guru. Therefore, light is through and through an entire continuum. It is not, it is unsplittable into any one entity or multiple entity. It is right through. And that is why in the external world, at the foundation of all forms, what is the existence characteristic of Brahman or Ishvara? It is Akhanda. Akhanda means the unsplit, undifferentiated essence of all varieties of forms in the universe. And that is Sat or existence aspect in the world. And that Sat is also Satchit Ananda Lakshanam. In the Sakshi, it says Satchit Ananda Swarupa. But in the external Samadhi, Drikdishya Viveka says Satchit Ananda Lakshanam. That means objects have the characteristics of Satchit Ananda. How? Borrowed from the existence aspect of Ishvara. And therefore, if we meditate on the object deeply and pierce through the covering, avarana, we will be able to recognize the existence. That is at the foundation. That is the akhanda, the undifferentiated common thing at the foundation of all variety of existence. This is the understanding of the teachings of my beloved teacher, Master Prabhuji. And to him, to his teaching, and to the truth, to the entire lineage, I offer this understanding. Om Tat Sat.